Got on this computer. Hi, YouTuber.
Hey, YouTube.
We're on live.
Fuck you all.
It says the big bear man in the big bear.
Yeah, well, I'm cold, Bob, I'm cold.
I love it.
It's cold. Russia's invading. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, you just think you could put your eating on if it wasn't for the Russians. Do you know what I mean?
It's not the Russians, though, is it, eh?
No.
It's not. It's all that profit going to the...
It's all that corporate greed. Is what it is.
Absolutely. Totally.
Cat twats.
I believe what the Tory government tell us, that, you know, the Ukrainians are paying for it in their blood and we're just paying for it out of our pockets.
The Labour Party is 33 points up in the polls.
Terrible, isn't
which
it?
is a record.
Terrible news.
So, I don't know how those companies would cope, really, you know, if we'd have to
without a Tory government?
And without us giving them all those millions of profit. I don't know how they would cope.
Is this a party political broadcast?
Yes, it's suddenly turned into it.
This is us standing up for workers' rights, Sucky. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm on strikes anyway.
Well, I know. Good.
Yeah.
You Sucky.
Yay.
Fight the power, Sucky. We're behind you 100%. I mean, many miles. But,
as a staunch Conservative Party member myself, you know, I did vote for Liz Truss, and I think they're doing an incredible job.
We do call you Bob, well-known Tory Fleming.
Oh yeah, I love him. I love everything they're about.
Bob.
Imagine if I was a Tory. I couldn't know. I can't even joke about it. That's just
it makes you feel slightly queasy.
Everyone knows it's like you just clearly not.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go and get a shower and put some Swarfega on just to get rid of this horrible, disgusting.
Just bathe yourself in bleach. You'll get rid of COVID as well.
I'm just gonna go and bleach myself. Cool. Should we do a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, why not? Why not?
Well, you are the host, Craig, so the initiative is up with you. So.
Are we ready? Are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready.
Ready.
Right.
Ready, Eddie.
Right. Hey, lovely listeners. That's right. You. This is Around the Console, and I'm your host, Craig. But you already know that. So now listen, stop what you're doing, go sit down and relax. That's right. Nibble on a lovely chocolate finger. Lick out the center of that custard cream. You'll really love that. And tonight, we're taking you back to October 1966, when us Who geeks were about to be introduced to the concepts of the Cybermen and regeneration. And helping me do that will be my fellow manhunks and occasional sex slaves, the crazy but cute Cliff, the belligerent Bob, the all-round total genius, John, and the half man, half sleep machine, Sucky. Hello.
I don't know about you lads, but is anyone else a bit hard right now?
I got to be
That was brilliant. That was brilliant, Craig.
That was amazing.
Storming semi on that ass.
That was
See, that's why they're my occasional sex slaves, listeners. All it takes a little bit of a husky voice. So are we all excited about looking at talking about the 10th planet?
Yeah, we've already watched it, Craig. So, I mean, it's right. I'll start us off.
Go on. Oh,
as always, in the context of Doctor Who, in the context of it being 1,000 years ago.
Yeah,
this is pretty decent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some doubts as to why they were wearing socks over their heads, the Cybermen, but worse things have happened, especially in Doctor Who. So I'm being very forgiving of it. Story was good. There was plenty of excitement and sci-fi in it. So,
and that is that genius talking. So that's gonna take some knocking. Come on then, Sucky, if you're awake, give us an answer. What do you think of this?
I fell asleep once, maybe twice during D&D, and you're never ever gonna make.
I'm surprised you fell asleep during Craig's intro. It went on fucking ever.
Oh man, I love Craig's intro. That was brilliant.
He was too busy stroking himself.
Well, I have got a box of tissues. I've already come and I've had to wipe it all away.
Oh my God,
I did not expect that from you.
No.
I was not expecting that from you. Oh my
Anyway.
Hold on, guys.
Yes.
Go on, Sucky.
Yeah, it's a decent story. It introduces Cybermen quite well. But you know, it's not really a Doctor Who story because the Doctor hardly appears. Right. So other than that, yeah, it was okay. It was just okay.
Oh, okay. Right, fine. Let's go to our Cliff.
Yeah, I really liked it. Really liked it. I watched it only a few years ago when I was watching the whole run of Doctor Who, what I had. I've always enjoyed this one of Cybermen because I like how they did the connection of having it as the twin Earth. I thought that's really clever. I love the music in it. It's very much like a Quatermass, like Twilight Zone episode rather than a Doctor Who episode.
Isn't it Quatermass?
Quatermass, that's it. Yeah. Boom! Sean's there to correct me again.
Genius.
Yeah, I like it. I think there's really good acting, good music. It's great. Love it.
Yeah, it was great music. Yeah.
Okay, now
All stop
it's a belligerent for a reason. Come on, Bob. What do we think?
I was a bit like left flat when we got to when you picked this and it won
Flaccid.
last
Really?
year. But do you know what?
Bit like me at the moment.
Take it all back. Well, that's
Yeah, it's hard to get around
apparently
so quick again, isn't it?
You've
No,
had
it does
to
take a while.
make the use of your tissues. But no, do you know what? I thank you for it, Craig. It's one that I've not really watched that much. And taking away the gravity of this episode, the fact that it's the first regeneration, the introduction of the Cybermen, my favourite Cybermen, the Mondasian Cybermen. I think they're brilliant and spooky. And done amazingly in New Who. And in this, they're still cool. But it's quick, sharp, 4-parter. It introduces a lot of stuff. So the Doctor working with the military, and just the whole thing of regeneration it's fucking huge. This episode of Doctor Who, massive. Cybermen first regeneration. Because if this hadn't worked, Doctor Who would have died. Completely off the air kind of thing. But fortunately, as we know, it did. But yeah, a massive, massive part of Doctor Who history and a decent 4-parter, in my opinion. Well acted and all that sort of stuff. So massive, huge thumbs up from me.
I actually agree. It's lovely that everyone's been so positive on this, perhaps with the exception of Suki. Yeah, but he's probably slept through it because he hardly saw the Doctor. So he must have slept through everything. Yeah. I'm exactly like Bob. I chose this because I was really, really in the mood for a William Hartnell. I have been for a while. And I wanted to choose Dalek Invasion of Earth quite recently, the last couple, but obviously the new box set's going to be coming out and all the rest of it. So I thought, right, I want a Hartnell to select. And it was just an obvious one. But I've only ever seen it once, and that was when they first released it. And that was donkeys years ago now. So I really enjoyed it. Exactly like Bob said, it's such a pivotal episode in the whole Doctor Who era, everything about it, from the regeneration to exactly what Bob said. I don't need to repeat it. So yeah, it's a definite thumbs up from me. Really good episode. So you've already said, Bob, that you liked the Cybermen best in this. What is it you like about how they look?
Well, I remember thinking initially when I first saw them years ago in this way, because I was a child of the 80s kind of thing, so I was used to seeing the big shiny Cybermen. So they were quite funny, but they're not. They're so spooky. The way they look and all that, the way they talk, the voice, everything about them. It's proper spare parts. Human race. Well, in their eyes, evolving. I think they're so spooky and not funny at all. But I did used to find them quite funny with the voice and the way they looked. But no, not now. And I think that's testament to when they did it in Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who. They brought back the Mondasian Cybermen and made them in that hospital environment and made them super spooky. But it's great. I mean, as well, not it's Base Under Siege. It's many things that Doctor Who does well, and one of them is Base Under Siege. Relatively small cast, but there's a big invasion, if you know what I mean. And for budget reasons, they kind of do the Base Under Siege, one kind of set, all that kind of thing. Really strong actors in this as well. The guy that plays the General,
Robert Beatty,
because he's mainly he's the lead, isn't he? Really, with Hartnell being unwell for episode 3 and sort of taking a back seat. And I just think, Michael Craze as well, fantastic as Ben, and Networks as well as Polly's cool. It's just a really strong cast with really strong ideas. But these Cybermen are just awesome, spooky, cool.
It was the voice.
Is that everyone else?
Yeah, for them. They were a great voice.
Roy Skelton doing his voice. It's kind of childlike, isn't it? A little bit, like a child.
And that's what makes it spooky, though, doesn't it? When you listen to it. But I find these ones, the way it's constructed, I know people have a go at it because you can see the sellotape at some bits and all that type of stuff. But the fact that they've got that more of a human element than the future Cybermen. The future Cybermen are more drones. They all seem to follow the same thing. Each one of these had a separate personality within them, but evil bastards as well, which made it frightening.
In the script, they did have names as well, apparently. But obviously they didn't get on to screen.
Peter, Steve,
Dave,
Clive,
like that.
Dave 1, Dave 2.
One of the episodes did actually name one of them, which is Krang. One of the
right.
Cybermen called the other one Krang. I think it
Oh, I
was in the
didn't hear that.
animated one,
Mm.
animated episode.
And,
But yeah, the human element, as Bob says, it's great. And some of it only came through by accident because the costume designer who made the bodysuit forgot to do the gloves.
Yeah.
All right, so you actually see human hands
Mm.
as part of this whole costume of the Cyberman costume, and it's great. And to be honest, this is one of my favorite designs. It is the favorite design that I've had for the Cybermen for years. If you look at my Twitter handle, ever since I came onto Twitter, that Cyberman, Mondasian Cyberman, has been my Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is Cyberman_151.
Fucking hell, he's promoting himself now.
Please give me a follow.
It's
Thank you
such
very
a-
much.
Oh my
Such
god!
a slag.
I'm really
Right.
against slut shaming, but I'm going to have to do it.
I don't think you're against that, Craig. I think you're probably fully for it. I
No.
think insofar as like the design of the Cybermen, the Lycra face thing, whilst initially it's like, but that's only in the context of me seeing it, the new versions and metal faces and all that stuff. But what I do like is there was a scene where one of them was talking, doing a monologue, and you got basically a face shot of it talking, and the mouth, the actor obviously opens their mouth, and they're not doing the words.
Mm.
So it opens the mouth and the sound emerges, which is a really good way
Really
of
good.
portraying that is an electronic voice.
I think I used to look at it a bit like, like a Bruce Lee film. That.
Like a
you
dub
will-
nurse,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
a
dub
little bit like
movie.
that. Yeah.
But not now. Now I look at it like you just explained it, John. It's quite creepy, just opening its mouth.
It was creepy. That's the word
Yeah.
I would use. Yeah.
And
But I
it-
think
and it-
also, sorry, go on, Bob.
No, I was going to say with that whole sort of there's some really big quotes in this as well. Not just from the Doctor at the end, where but this body's wearing a bit thin, but there's some awesome Cyberman quotes, which I think they do use again. You will be, you will become like us or be like us, and all this kind of thing, and the whole justification part about what they can't understand why the Earth or the humans on this Earth wouldn't want to become like them. And I quite like that element of it as well.
I've got a question though. If like Mondas was destroyed and thus all the Cybermen destroyed, what are the remaining Cybermen that we get in the upcoming series?
The
Cybermen.
Splinter Cybermen. They must,
Right.
while that planet's been off in whatever part of the galaxy, other Cybermen have been
All right.
planets have
That
been
makes
colonized.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And initially, under the David Tennant and the kind of era, they were meant to be from a parallel universe, weren't they? They were never really kind of Russell T Davies separated them off from this lot.
Initially, yeah.
Yeah, initially, so that it was like he had Lomax and things like that. Then you saw the origins of it.
One of my things to do with the science, and bearing in mind this was written by the scientific advisor for the show at the time, Kip Pedler, is gravity and a planet.
Everything about the science is fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is amazing of the
Like they got
planet
two
and it being-
planets going talking.
it's like, I'm like, well, hang on a minute. There might be a bit of an issue with that, but obviously, you can't look too deep into that. But it was a bit of a inkle this time for me. That doesn't work. But then I suppose we've done it, in New Who as well, and
In
other stuff.
1966, I mean, kids as well wouldn't have particularly known.
Oh God, no.
I
It's
mean,
just
if
me
you
being a
try
bit
to
picky.
start saying about tidal forces and all that bullshit, nothing would ever get made into sci-fi, would it?
I think it's only because it's written by Kip Pedler, the scientific advisor to the show, that I'm thinking, well, if you're the science guy, why?
Okay.
No, yeah.
Right.
Such a lot more they could have gone into here, though, isn't it? Because you're right. They've got the arrival of the planet, and then you've got what we don't see is the arrival of the Cybermen on Earth. Like you have that one stood next to whoever it is, the general, or whatever, down on Earth. And there's such a lot they really could make out of this. Like you said, the tidal waves, the devastation. It would have been truly awesome. Obviously, in a 4-part story, they couldn't have done it, and it was the end of the run. And they had the bigger agenda was a regeneration risk. But this would make a truly amazing, almost story arc of one series.
End of the world kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And what I also liked about it was the fact that they had a kind of, it was set in 1986, so there's various assumptions they've made of what would happen in the next 20 years. A lot of them are pretty decent, pretty accurate about, we've just come back from the moon, we're all there all the time, all that stuff. That could be very feasible. And the space UN place,
Yeah.
with Napoleon on the on the desk.
The International
The thing
Space
I-
Command.
Yeah, yeah. The thing I like about that is that they made a real attempt. It was obviously for like to make it multicultural. That
Yes.
building,
Yeah.
and I really like the fact that the BBC back then was still doing stuff like, look, this is the world
has
we
got to
are.
But
Yeah.
also, they had the black.
If it was
black
American, it would-
astronaut.
The astronaut,
If-
yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Yes, I know that was really great. If it was an American show, there would have been a load of white men in a room.
Yeah,
Mm.
For that.
definitely.
But the BBC was just ahead of its time
Well,
on that
It
sort
was,
of stuff.
but it also this is so 1966. The first series of Star Trek, I think, had come out in the
I was about to
September.
ask that, yeah.
So it's all around that similar sort of
It's,
time.
it's around the space race, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
61 to 69 when it landed on the moon, or supposedly. But all that time, there's a ton of space films. There's a ton of interesting TV. Everyone went mad for it. So this showing what could be in the future once they've landed on the moon, I thought it was really, really clever. One thing what got me, though, when the first time I watched it as well, was the fact that you get really attached to those two space guys up in space at the beginning, the white guy and the black guy up in space. Really good character development of them. You're worrying about them. Are they going to come down? And the fact that when the first time I watched it, I thought, no, they couldn't go. Surely they're going to come back in it in a minute. It took me a bit to think, thought they killed them off.
Yeah.
Really
That's
good acting.
unusual
Really
to-
good acting as well.
Yeah,
The-
but to
the-
keep him up into right into the middle of the story, like
Then
in
go.
episode 2, and then go.
And then
Yeah,
repeat it with the sun brings in the extra risk.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
and that gives it that fear that they
Mm.
could actually kill him off again.
Well, I
Not-
genuinely believed he was when he went and then he came back. I did
Yeah.
think they'd done it. I thought, because it's quite a merciless story, isn't it? About, people dying and all the rest. That's all.
Exactly.
Cyber is about.
But it didn't feel like just like Star Trek, like Bob said. It didn't feel like just
No.
a red shirt who's just going to die. You don't
No,
know.
it's
You got
proper, yeah,
attached
You
to
bought
them.
into him, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their acting as well was great. They both
Yes.
made the decision both to slow down everything they did.
I like that. I
but
thought
not
that
like,
was clever.
but not like in a weird crap movie space way.
It
was
was
just
in
like
a weird crap way.
But I kind of liked it. They just slowed it down a little bit to
But
sort of.
the thing is, though, that they're like reaching for things really slowly. Like that's not what Zero G is about. You
No.
can still do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, I think what they're doing that they kind of retroactively fix that by saying we're losing energy, we're feeling tired and lethargic and losing
Yeah.
strength.
Space fatigue.
So that's space fatigue. But like everything with the word space in front of it is better, obviously. But I do
You
like
did-
that.
But you did right, like with the sending. So these two obviously die later on, and you've gained some attachment because you've had a bit of screen time with
Spoilers,
them.
Bob. Come on.
If you've not seen a Doctor Who episode
We
from
just discussed it 2
1966.
minutes ago.
This is
Yeah,
like
but
50
what-
years old if you've not seen it by now.
But what I mean about it, so it adds to the general. It's his son going into space, so it adds to why his character's
Yeah,
acting
why,
like he is.
and why he
And
breaks
that's great
up.
writing.
Yeah, really
You know,
good writing. Good acting
yeah.
as well. Cracking acting.
See,
for that guy.
I like
When-
the way they acted that bit as well, that when he was told, he was obviously so flummoxed, he just went into professional mode. And he was really harsh with him, wasn't it? Like, oh, familiar face there, Dad. He was like batting it all away. But then obviously, as he got used to the idea, his father role blended in as well. He became a little bit less professional. But I really love that kind of confusion that you could see that he didn't quite know how to deal with his son.
It's always nice to have a protagonist because he was somewhat of a protagonist towards the end, despite the fact that Cybermen were really it. But it was like you could feel, like you said, you could feel his emotional connection to the story
Yes.
and why he was losing it later on. Couldn't understand why he was being such an arsehole in the first half.
Well, yeah.
But
Oh.
And also how he managed to have the Z-bomb kind of all the power to control the destruction.
Yeah,
That was
Well,
a bit of
guy.
an issue for me.
well, that's also a thing about the time and the place.
Yeah.
66 is post-war, the atom bomb era, and
Yeah.
the fear. I mean, it was tangible
yeah,
right
yeah.
then.
Yeah,
the
Cold
fear
War
of,
stuff. Yeah.
of nuclear war, and
Well, it's
Just
potential now,
assuming-
isn't it?
and they're assuming that in 20 years down the line, they have even worse bombs that can destroy planets.
Yeah.
It was a natural extension of that. And I did like that. I didn't like the fact that it was called a Z bomb.
I thought
Yeah.
they got that Z bomb from H bomb. They just worked their way through it. By the time 86,
Oh, I've not thought of that. See, I quite like this like American aspect to it because obviously it was again intergalactic and all the rest of it. I quite liked that, but yeah,
Well, it's Doctor's first flirtation with the military as well, isn't it? Which it goes on to have a massive part in with Unit and
of course,
the
Yeah,
Brigadier
yeah.
later on
Yeah.
with Troughton when they start trying out ready for Pertwee. And it was quite. And do you know what Hartnell in this? I thought when he was in it, was great. You know, I thought he was funny. I actually laughed out loud at a Hartnell episode when the general's shouting at the beginning, and he says something like, "Sorry, pardon, I didn't hear you." You know, like just taking the piss out
that
of
was
him.
good. Yeah,
I actually laughed out loud at a Hartnell thing, which was quite cool.
I think the companions, and I've never seen these companions before. Ben and Polly.
Polly, yeah.
Polly.
Yeah.
A lot
Ben,
of
I
them are
thought was great.
misadventures, aren't they? Yeah.
Ben, I thought was great. I was like, oh, here we go, a bit of a chance we've got going on here. But as the story went on, and as he had to take over, obviously, some of the Doctor's role a little bit because the Doctor wasn't in it for episode 3. I thought he did really well, and he was a good actor, that fella. He wasn't
Michael
like
Crazy is good, yeah.
He wasn't like the previous companions. I see where was still in theatre mode. I was like, right, shout so everybody at the back of the room can hear you when you're speaking. He was more naturalistic that way, and I really enjoyed his performance. And while I'm on it, episode 4, the animated one, that animation is fucking brilliant. I love it.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh,
The quality of animation on that, it was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
When did they do it?
Oh God, it's in the
A
last
while ago. It's like
10 years.
2012. Oh,
Yeah.
12 was it?
It reminds me of Archer, in fact. It's the style of animation. Yeah.
It's one of the
that's,
animations.
That's
I never saw the animation bit.
Oh,
did you not?
No, I saw that because when I downloaded it, it came with its stills. So it's just the stills and the audio. So I missed it.
reconstruction.
I mean,
It's still all right,
it
though.
was good.
In case you showed a little bit.
It is online. It's on one of, I think it's on Vimeo or one of them.
Yeah,
the animation's on
I'll
there. So
find
if you
it.
want to catch it on there, you'll probably catch it on there.
It's really good, though.
Yeah, I'll look
sort of
into it.
made it as well. It's like the last episode of it went really quickly because it's like the quality of animation was good.
Yeah.
So you could really see it was going. I think it helped a little bit as well, maybe because before that, some of the visualizations were a little bit poor.
It was getting a bit ropey, wasn't it?
The-
A bit
Yeah,
scratchy,
there's a
green
little
and
bit.
stuff like that.
The animation-
Apparently it didn't age very well. But I
Yeah.
thought Polly as a companion just felt so out of place. They even gave us such a stereotypical role of can I do anything? Go
wasn't
get
great.
coffee. Go get coffee, love.
Well,
It was such
she
a
shouldn't-
shame.
I would see that is I'll explain that away because she was going to get coffee because she'd been told to spy on them, and she was
Yeah.
feeding into their misogyny and their just general assumptions about what the female should do. So, make coffee, but she's doing it so she could be.
If that was the case, John, I would like that. But the part of me can't help but think that the children, they just see that as being the girls off to make coffee. But it was the 60s. It was the 60s, and it was, we get that right in the Liz Grant, in Joe's Grant era. So we can't, that's whatever, another 10 years ahead.
Did like a skirt.
Yeah.
You'd suit it, Cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally suit it, yeah.
Oh, and Jodrell Bank.
Oh,
What
it's
a mention.
always Jodrell Bank. Yeah, I
Did we
love
get
that.
with the photos from Jodrell
Yes.
Bank when we got the little montage?
And also it was
Yeah.
mentioned as well, Jodrell Bank.
Yes.
And I need to go to Jodrell Bank.
No, you don't. It's awful.
It's been
Oh,
part
it's
of my
good.
life for
I've
so long.
been.
Oh, we call it Jodrell Wank because it's so boring. Although, to be
That's
fair, it was like
awesome.
1994.
Yeah.
But it's a massive part of Doctor Who
It is a
history.
massive part of Doctor Who, yeah. My
You'd have
entire
to-
childhood was my mother saying, let's go out for a family trip. Who wants to Jodrell Bank? And we all went, no. And eventually, as an adult, I treated her and took her to Jodrell Bank, and it was so shit. That's my personal opinion.
And to
I'm
be honest,
right.
you're a Doctor Who location hunter as well, aren't you?
I
So-
am. Although, to be fair, it was before all of them came back out on DVDs. It's before I'd entered that phase. If I went back now, I'll probably have a semi in my pants.
I'd have a semi. What's your best Doctor Who location, Craig? What's your favourite?
Oh my god, I'd probably say Bad Wolf Bay. From the
Amsterdam.
new series. Amsterdam, yeah.
I know that reference. Wow.
Can't go wrong with that one.
There are loads, actually, to be fair. I just love doing nerdy stuff like that. I am so bad.
You've done a lot, though, haven't you? You've done a lot. You go purposely to them, don't you? as well?
I've got to go to Sheffield soon. Obviously, went to Liverpool last year to see the sites there.
Oh, I
Oh,
went
did
there.
you?
I
John
did
went
that. I
there.
did a location.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
As did
There we
Suki,
go.
because you went to Ancliffe, didn't you? Ancliffe, whatever it's called.
I went to
football ground.
Anfield.
That's what I mean.
Cliff.
I can't
Ancliffe.
remember. It's a football reference. That's what I meant, Suki. Thank you, darling.
Oh, yeah. Anfield. Craig. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I love doing that.
I have to say, there's a couple of things that I love about the old Who is the use of stock footage. They blend it well. It really works quite
Did
well
alright.
to the point where the future ones, you think, why don't you just bloody use stock footage?
But I think
trying to
in
use green
black
screen.
and white, you get away with a lot more.
Yeah, you do get away with a lot
you
more.
know,
You
and
do get a
especially
lot
on that grainy. As soon as you get into colour and a bit more definition,
Yeah, you can see the difference.
yeah.
Different
Whereas
colours
this, you
to it.
can't really tell. It just looks really good.
Yeah, it does look good. And the music, like I said, the
Stock
music
music.
accompaniment it was
Yeah.
really good.
All stop.
Stock
No, I
music as
do
well.
think some of the music was good because if it was stock music, it worked because it wasn't your bloody synth crap that we
No,
were getting in
we were used to getting a headache.
in number 3.
And you get the Cyberman theme, don't you? That then he carries through to Pertwee, and like you get it in what's it called, Tomb of the Cybermen and things like that when they're coming out. This is where you first get for me that Cyberman soundtrack that is carried on for a while. I love that.
I think I was a bit disappointed in how easy the Cybermen were to overcome, from like how easy it was to kill them.
Well, no, because they nicked their guns, didn't they?
Yeah, I
know.
know, but even so, I think it was just like, oh, come on. It just seemed like they were far too easy to kill, especially blinding one with a bloody.
I think the
Yeah,
Cyberman,
with
the
yeah.
film.
the
Yeah, that
Cyberman
was a bit of a random one.
I think a Cyberman threat though is based on quantity over strength quality, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Perhaps.
So it's strength in numbers, isn't it, with the Cybermen? Like the big fleet on the radar, which again was a brilliant idea because it made the threat massive, whereas the threat that we were experiencing was this little base under siege.
They what did they get a kill with the Patrick Troughton ones? Isn't it like some kind of, I want to say, a makeup remover or something? There's something where they get defeated by something really random again, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a
in the chest unit, nail polish remover, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, the nail polish.
Thinking,
And
I was thinking, that's what I was going to ask about, actually. The radiation, them being afraid of radiation, was that something to do with?
That never came back again, did it?
Never came
back.
back. Never came back.
No.
And it was
Personality.
integral to the plot.
Because it's a bit strange here, isn't it? Because you can actually look at this as the first episode of the Cybermen and go, let's say, to one of Jodie's episodes, The Lone Cyberman, and the concept has never changed, and neither has their speech, has it? It's always the same. It's like the Daleks. It's always about, not resisting. It's about taking over. It's brilliant for that. It's about, no emotions, and I think that's one of the things that Doctor Who does really well. But it's got.
And I think they lose that a lot in Doctor Who. I've said it for years. Is the Cybermen? They never tend to do them full justice for the fact, the Borg in Star Trek are immense.
Yes.
And basically,
useless.
Yeah, but they're scary, aren't they? The collective of this whole, and the concept of the Cybermen, the fact that the humans, us, we've made ourselves, immortal and lack emotions and devoid of emotions and all these things that make us human, for justifiable reasons, to cheat death. And I think it's such a fantastic idea, but they tend to lose it a lot in Doctor Who, what the Cybermen actually are.
Well, it's like that closing.
I was going to say that's a brilliant comparison with the Borg, especially this first Cyberman. It's probably more connected with the Borg than any of the others because you have that individuality, not constantly connected to everything, where it's just drone-like. Like I said, this is probably my favorite Cyberman.
There was
regardless of the costume, because you have to ignore that.
Well, no, I think the costume as well for me. We did a crossover on our when we did the Star Trek podcast, which is still going on. Check this out, everyone. By the way, Suki's still at the helm. But we did the Doctor Who Star Trek crossover, didn't we? What are you shaking with that?
Well, we ain't put out an episode.
But there's plenty of awesome podcasts
100
in
episodes
there.
out there.
But yeah, we did there's a comic book cross. That's a lot, isn't it? But there's a comic book crossover with the Borg, with the Next Generation crew and the Borg and the Cybermen and Matt Smith's Doctor. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
Like I remember when I found out about it years ago. Literally, good job it was delivered with a cellophane wrapper, because Jesus Christ, my sex was all over it.
Did we not do that on Proctor Who back in the day?
We might have done it. No, we did both. We did both.
We did.
Episode.
And I think, and I don't want to criticize Bob, but you used the exact same cellophane wrapper joke.
Right.
Well,
you see,
new material.
If he's written it, he's allowed to use it whenever he likes.
Yeah, copyright Bob Fleming. Splash proof. Copyright Bob Fleming.
Bath proof.
So let's talk about, because we've not yet done it, the regeneration, because I find this regeneration quite scary. There's something about the flashing lights and the camera
TARDIS.
angle.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I watched it on the stills. Yeah. So the last bit when the flashing of the lights and the movement,
Yes.
obviously it was grainy on the stills, but he had shown the actual film footage as well. And I was watching that, and you have to say it's probably one of the best. How he's so connected with the TARDIS.
Yes.
And I think
it's a simplicity
RTD
of the
tried
third.
to bring that back a bit.
The connection to the TARDIS, absolutely. And I was thinking, for all the regenerations, the TARDIS hasn't been involved since until David Tennant and then particularly Matt Smith when and Jodie Whittaker when they smashed the TARDIS to bits, and it was involved in regeneration.
Yeah.
But it's just the simple of the face.
The thing is, though, that the animated thing didn't make it as clear as I guess the TV version
I don't suppose
would have
did you look on YouTube for the regeneration at all?
No, I didn't. But I mean, I think I saw it was a different face, and I'm guessing it was Troughton that it was turning into. But the parallels between that and then Troughton's regeneration later on, which the Gurning one is.
You don't see him, do you?
Much better.
The Troughton one's weird.
Great.
You don't see him regenerate pertwee, do you? You don't see him regenerate pertwee. He just does it.
He just
falls out of the door.
Well, there was, I don't know if you saw it, but on the making of, which is on the DVD I was watching, they kind of talked about the day they went in to film this, they actually did not have a clue how they were going to do it. They just knew what they wanted to achieve, and they didn't know. And literally, it was just very creative. And at the end of it, obviously, they were very happy with what they did. It was all down to the lighting. They had 2 cameras, and they were both being filled, weren't they? It's blended them together. I don't know the technicality, camera A, camera B, and then they had them doing certain things. But they literally, it wasn't like now when it's probably all penciled out. It was right, here's Troughton, here's Hartnell. Let's see what we can make for this.
God, they were shit back then, weren't they?
It's weird, isn't it, to think about that, because it's just so iconic. But yeah, like John said, when I watched the animated version, I was left underwhelmed, and I did literally scan through.
I wasn't sure that it was what I thought. It was only because you guys mentioned that there was a resurrection, a regeneration in this one that I thought, oh, this must be it, because it was a little bit difficult to interpret from the animation.
If you do get to watch the film stills on YouTube, it's tremendous.
Also,
really,
has anyone seen that Adventures in Space and Time?
Oh, that's genius.
You cover this as well.
Yes, they did. Because I was really desperate again when I watched it to go back, because they have they redo that little bit, don't they?
Yeah,
his regeneration, and they have Polly and all the rest.
The story behind Hartnell as well of what he was at the time thinking, and he wasn't very good with picking up the script.
Reece Shearsmith plays Patrick Troughton as well in that, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that famous speech that the Doctor does at the console, when is that done in a previous episode?
Story. It's when he says goodbye to his granddaughter. Who's outside. That's who he's talking to.
Ah, right. So that was a few stories.
That's 2 years. Season 2, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 years previous.
I thought they were one and the same. I was a little bit surprised. I thought
people use that segment of audio with the regeneration, and when you see YouTube videos, and you seem to use that as because it's quite really well done, because they didn't actually get to write anything very well. The last word he says is about keeping warm.
He didn't have a good. Because I was waiting for that goodbye line, but he didn't.
But he is very good in this Hartnell when he's in it. I think
he's fantastic.
He's brilliant.
As an accompaniment piece.
There.
What was that one we watched a bit back when it's one of Troughton's and Troughton was ill, and then it's
the Mind Robber. Fraser Hines.
It felt a little bit similar to that, where it shows how good the writing has to be for the other cast and the other members.
Adaptable it has to
adapt.
be.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they can't plan things too far in advance, clearly.
So this is where Jerry Davies comes in, because this was a Kip Pedler story. And then Jerry Davies, because of all the things that happened with William Hartnell in the 3rd episode, where he fell ill with bronchitis, Jerry Davies had to rewrite chunks of the dialogue to pass it on to other people. And this is why Jerry Davies has actually got a co-written credits on this story, because they needed to be able to do this on such short notice as well.
But they were co-creators of the Cybermen, weren't they? They have the rights to the Cybermen. Yes. Them two, they were the writers of the creators
Davies
of the Cybermen.
and Pedler, isn't it?
Yeah, they might have Kip Pedler might have come up with the idea. Jerry Davies helped him develop it. So they probably are co-credited
for
as
the creation of
the
Cybermen.
creation of Cybermen. Yeah.
Well, they only created him, didn't they, to try and... I mean, they always were trying to... Because Terry Nation had the rights to the Daleks, and he was always trying to take them off to make more money, because obviously the Daleks were a big money thing for the BBC and Terry Nation. He was going to try and take them away, wasn't he? Which is for the creation... Which is why they tried to create the Cybermen, a new monster that would replace the Daleks, if you like. Also, it never happened, but that was one of the reasons behind this. And also, they tried to get rid of Hartnell 6 months before in a Celestial Toy Maker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the producer at the time, who was the producer at the time, Suki, you will know this probably.
John Wiles.
Yeah.
John Wiles
I was about to
initially,
say.
and then Innes Lloyd.
But basically, Hartnell got wind of it, went to one of the bosses at the BBC and said, he's trying to get rid of me. Anyway, the producer then was got rid of. Because in the Celestial Toy Maker, there's a part where he changes him into something else. Michael Gough as well plays a Celestial Toy Maker, and he's brilliant. Also married to Annette Wilkes, isn't he? There you go.
Yes.
Little
That's
fun fact.
some fucking random names that I've never heard of.
Yeah, but it's quite cool. But yeah, but this was when it had to happen, and also he wasn't very well. I think it was like he gave in eventually, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was probably relieved eventually when it came, and he was kind of forced to go because of his health. You know,
Yeah,
I think-
he had to write
I
his
think you had
scripts
to-
down. On
He had to
different
go in
things
his
to
own
help him.
terms. I think he just wanted to go on his own terms, and I think that was probably the way.
Yeah. And also, I love the fact that it's a mid-season of that
Regeneration.
season, and it's a regeneration.
It's not.
Or is that how
mid-season.
they
the
do it in two
smugglers? Yeah,
parts or something?
the smugglers, which was the first story of the fourth season, was filmed as part of the previous series, and they held it over, and this was the start of the new one. So he basically came back. William Hartnell basically came back just to film this one story, and even in this one story.
Oh, I
he was
assumed it's the end of a series.
Oh,
So
right.
this is season 1, episode.
This
Season
is
This is
season
season 3.
4.
episode 1.
Season
Episode
4,
one.
Story
but
one.
story
Story one.
2
Yeah.
of the season, but it was actually the first story filmed for this season 4.
Right, that explains it then.
bit like Colin Baker, because you got his
Yeah, a bit like
one of
Colin
the-
Baker.
second time he got the twin dilemma before, and then at the end of that season, rather than it just stopping and then the new season starting with Colin Baker.
Yeah.
But this is what
So,
they used
yeah.
to do with the John Pertwee era as well, was they'd always film the first story of the next season before
At the end, yeah.
at the end of the previous one. So they were always had a story in the can before the season started.
There you go.
Any final thoughts on this, then, people? Anything else you want to discuss with it?
Like I said, I just want to reiterate my thanks to you, Craig, for picking this.
Oh,
Yeah, well done, Craig.
And because it's
Yeah, it
one that I
was
would
quite
never have,
short. Yeah.
never have gone back and revisited. And it-
oh, good.
And
Congratulations.
it's a momentous, massive, part of Doctor Who history. And it's just a really good story with some great actors and awesome sidemen. So yeah,
Also, great directing as well. Really good directing. The way it was done for the time. It's better than some of the new stuff. To
The
be honest.
sets were good as well.
Sets are really good.
and the Antarctic looked great. The
Yeah.
outside,
Oh,
it
that
looked great.
snow
Yeah.
was cool. Wasn't it? I must
Yeah.
admit, I did giggle
It
when
was literally freezing.
the
Right.
3 kind of people from the base went up, and there were just 3 Cybermen, and obviously they steal their cloaks and put them on so they're in disguise.
Oh,
I did love that. That was you have to look by that because you can see what they're trying to do.
Well, it's great campness about it as well. But
It's
also,
fun.
I don't know if anyone else thought this, but when there was looking in the what's it called, the telescope thing.
Periscope.
Yes.
That's it, periscope. Yeah, and he looks around and he sees the girl, and she's covered in the white snow. It's a bit like Bukaki, wasn't it? It's like,
Oh my god!
I love it. I love it.
I do not know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
No,
Actually, I
don't know what that
genuinely
means.
Jizz in face. Is that kind
That's
of?
it.
Fuck, I didn't need it.
I didn't genuinely know. Oh
well, when
my
I watched
God.
it, because obviously it's not proper snow, I was like, oh, you're a Jesus face.
What's
Yeah,
it called?
It was
Bukaki.
Jizz in
Jabberwock.
face.
It's a Japanese word.
Yeah.
For jizz in face.
It'd be,
jizz in face.
you should be perfectly aware of this, I imagine, Craig.
I should be. I mean, I know what that means.
Have you not been on tour in Japan, Craig?
I've never heard that technical term for it. I need it on my t-shirt now.
I've heard
Google it.
your- I've
Google
heard
it.
you're
No,
big
you
in
don't.
Japan.
No,
You
you
have to
don't.
wash it out of your t-shirt.
I'll need to
I've
stick it clean.
I've heard you're big in Japan, Craig.
I'm big everywhere.
Yeah, but that's my final thoughts. Yeah, it was,
What, big in Japan?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's That's my 2 words as well. Big Japanese.
Okay, big Japanese for Bob.
Oh, good one.
Let's go to John for his final 2 words.
My final 2 words, and I've given this a great deal of thought in the last maybe 2, maybe 3 seconds, and I would have to say, come back to me. Come back to me.
Come back.
Think of something.
That's 2 words. Isn't it?
I just think you come back to me. That's
Come
4
back. There we go.
Come back. Okay.
It has nothing to do with bukkake.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Bukkake. Okay, right. Okay. Cliff, darling. What 2 words?
Final 2 words would be cybertastic.
Hey,
that was good.
One word.
Nice.
Fucking hell.
Fantastic dude. There you go. 2
Yeah.
words.
Go with it.
Thanks, John.
Suki, darling, what have you come with? Suki.
Okay, there's a few things I wanted to say.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
The animation, as I said,
Hang on, I'm just going to
really
go
great.
Put the kettle on.
I'll go through a wee, actually.
Every time we do that, we're horrible.
I know
I'm
you
listening,
are.
Suki. I'm listening,
I don't
Suki.
know why he still joins in, really. Go on,
Come on.
Suki, darling.
Come on.
The
My
animation
face.
is really
Shut up,
great,
Come on.
and
It is.
which is based, the animation is based on the stills that Cliff watched, right? And there's certain bits where if you just took the picture of just that bit of the animation, they really look. It's just great pictures, fantastically drawn. You got like Cybermen standing side by side, but a few feet distance, so that the depth, and it looks really great. There's other parts where the Cybermen, all 3 Cybermen standing. Again, these are all fantastic bits of animation they could just use as posters and covers and stuff like that, which I think was great. The story, there's a little story that snuck into the middle of the regeneration scene, which we've all watched in the past, which is Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah.
So you got the Doctor leaving the cyber spaceship, walking across the Stardust, and in that bit, there's a whole story with Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
So
okay.
we've got all this, and then whenever that bit in Twice Upon a Time finishes, he's back in the TARDIS. It's just, and then just sort of link it all together, which it's something that I thought
I think it'd be a nice thing to watch. We've watched the 10th Planet, but watch Adventures in Space and Time and Twice Upon a Time.
I actually just downloaded Adventures in Space.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, bought.
Well, the next one, I'm assuming, will be, depending when it's broadcast, will be Jodie's finale.
Great, that's a production meeting. I'm just saying in general life.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Sorry.
Craig loves to do his production meetings in the middle of the podcast.
Doesn't he just? Yeah.
these
These podcast episodes are meant to be timeless, so you can listen to them any time. That's why we don't have news. We don't have anything like that, Craig. So
Yeah.
Sorry,
about
boys.
Or the
Sorry,
Queen
sorry.
and all that.
Although I'm not sure bukkake will still last as a phrase back in the
Well.
distant future.
The,
Oh, I love it. Craig's muted.
Who's muted me?
yourself,
Oh.
Suki. Sorry.
Sorry, so
there's the nudie pictures that are put up on the wall,
I hate
which
that.
was what was in 1960s. That's probably something that was quite common, but and then 20 odd years later, I think 1986, it was less common. But nowadays you wouldn't see
That
it.
was the actor's decision, wasn't it?
It wasn't nudie
No, it
pictures,
was
though,
the
was it?
designers, production designers.
They were all
Oh, wasn't
clothes, Suki.
Yeah, well,
What's
it's a kids' TV program, but it was the idea was there, wasn't it?
Did you pause it, Suki? Did you pause it and have a quick one?
Try to
I
work
did.
out
That's
who
why
you
there's
were.
a load of tissues around here, man.
Could you not find
This
Could you not find Littlewood's catalogue?
This is a very sperm-centric episode of Around the Console, isn't it?
It's terrible.
Rather
It is
too
actually
much-
thinking about it.
Too much jizz.
There's never too much jizz. It's called a heavy comer.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna call this episode the Jizz Fest.
There's also the unique opening credits with the title credits, where
yeah.
which
I
we've
forgot to
never
mention
seen
that, yeah.
before.
Oh,
was
yeah,
great.
the-
They're
the-
great.
Yeah.
That was cool.
They did spell Jerry Davis's name wrong in one of them, though, which is a shame. The other thing, Ben kills a Cyberman. Now most people, right, in Doctor Who, when they kill something, they usually just carry on. Ben seems to have a lot of regret there.
And
And
that's
It
again
does
brilliant.
actually, yes, it does,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Love
it
that.
just brings out a little character moment for him. I don't think he's ever killed anything, but it's just something.
And he's a
that just
soldier, naval soldier, isn't
Navy
he? as well?
soldier.
Plus, he gets the taste for it because he really tries to kill him afterwards, doesn't he? He's like, ooh, take
Thanks for what?
Test for cyber blood.
Maybe cyber.
Cyber chase.
I knew he was going there.
Yeah,
I knew it.
There's a scene where you see Polly's knickers on full show.
No.
Right,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Was that another pause, Suki?
Climbs
what I
up
keep
into the bed.
Jesus
climbs
Christ.
up into
Can
the
I
bed.
just say, this is really, really wrong now. I'm going to go on a rant. Do you know, I have looked so many times or tried
do
to
we
put
mute him?
Jamie's kilt, but you can't because they weight it down, but they don't weight down the girl skirts, do they? Just the boys' kilt. It's outrageous, so homophobic.
Why don't you write a strongly worded email to the
Not
BBC in
homophobic.
1966? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it's not
That's not what
homophobic.
homophobic is.
No, I suppose it's not. It's so, well,
Sexist.
it's just, because us
Yeah.
straight women and gay men can't appreciate Jamie's button pants.
My
That-
God.
Holy
what
shit.
Wow.
the Cybermen were initially created so they wanted something to be able to rival the Daleks because the Daleks were sort of coming out. So they needed something to really bring out, to get the people watching the show again. Now, with the viewing figures, and I think Bob probably noticed it and Craig probably noticed it when they did the
Yes,
behind scenes documentary,
yes.
right? They
Going
did
down.
show the ratings were going down.
Yeah.
Now, with this story, they started at something like 5 million, but each episode built on it. And it went all the way up to 7.6 million. So each episode with these Cybermen, they just got more and more viewers all the way through.
How much of that was up to Polly's knickers, though? That's what I'm
Yeah.
asking.
Oh, Polly's Knickers Day actually make an appearance until episode 3. So
Yeah.
before then, it has to be Cybermen.
Now,
It has
people
to
would
be
have
the
known,
appeal
wouldn't it, that this was a regeneration episode because it had been in the press, hadn't it,
Yeah.
that Hartnell was going. So do you think people were tuning in towards the end because they wanted
See
to
what it was
understand what was
like.
going on for the regeneration? A bit like when we do it now, a new Doctor, like Jodie goes right up here and all the rest of it. New regeneration story, new Doctor, the people tune in to see that.
It could have been, but the 4th episode actually went down.
Oh.
Just by a little bit, but it actually went down in the ratings.
Maybe because you had to watch it in stills like I did.
The only other thing is my 2 words was going to be spare parts,
Oh,
and this
yes,
spare
okay.
parts is because this is also the origin. This is where that first saying of that comes in,
Yeah, it
and this is when Big Finish then did their spare part story, which is like the origins of the Cybermen on Mondas,
Which is
And
brilliant.
which is a great story. And I have said that I think Jason Ellery and Big Finish were involved with the animation side on the that 4th episode as well.
Cool.
That's it.
So you've read all the notes off the inside of the.
Now these are some of my own notes.
They are actually.
Yeah.
They are actually definitely some of his own notes. He's not copied his homework this episode. That's good.
No,
Isn't
I don't copy my homework these days because I got told off over a year ago.
it? You didn't get told off.
Oh,
We just
really?
It got pointed out. over a
outed
year.
you.
You know,
Yeah.
don't criticize Suki. He's got a long memory, that boy.
Damn it, like a
I haven't
bearded
got
elephant. Yeah.
Oh, what are you going on about my nose for, man?
Like a zombie dinosaur. That's cool, by the way.
Oh,
lads.
you missed that, Bob.
Yeah.
You missed it.
Anyway, it's not for now,
Right.
Suki.
Yes,
No.
absolutely. So I think we may well have come to the end of our exciting podcast. Now, I know it's a production meeting issue, but normally at this point we will be choosing our next story.
Which we will be doing.
That's cool then. So in that case, then it's time to reveal your next stories, people. Don't laugh at me. I just assumed we weren't. So I'm going to go around the table and I'm going to go to Bob first because I think I came to you last.
Well, I'm going to put a little request into you all. So obviously, as you aware, the Abominable Snowman has come out on the Blu-ray DVD animation, and I really want to watch it because I've not watched it yet, and I was holding back in the hope that we will review it. So I'm going to stick with that one, please.
Okay, Cliff.
I really like this Cybermen, so it got me itching for a bit more. So I was going to go for Revenge of the Cybermen.
Oh, Cliff.
It isn't that much of a good one, but I can't lie.
I mean, historically, it was the first VHS,
know?
so I remember it. I've watched it more than any
That's
other.
right. That's right, because I had it for ages. And kept watching it. Yeah,
It's got Granada, rent it out
it might be good again. now.
every Saturday.
Yeah.
There you go. Fucking hell, Cliff.
John.
Because I'm backing up Bob 100% on this one, I'm going to go for the Abominable Snowman.
Oh, good lad, John. Good lad.
I don't know how you're going to be able to watch it because I ain't got a copy of it.
I'll make sure. I'll
I'll
move.
send you,
I'll move.
John, if you want.
Helen High Earth to get you a
Production.
I'll go to Helen back. To
It's
get
production.
you,
issue.
Yes. Suki. So, darlings, which one are we going to go with?
I've just been listening to some retrospective on Christopher Eccleston, so I want to go with the Doctor Dances. What's the other one on that?
Doctor Dances and Unearthly. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Empty Child.
Empty Child.
Empty Child.
Empty Child. Yeah, Doctor Dances.
That's a good choice, actually, Suki, to be fair. I'll give you that one.
The first one with John Barrowman in it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And it's Stephen Moffat's first script, and it's amazing because he was the best writer by a country mile under RTD. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Tom Baker's Stones of Blood.
Oh, part of the key to time.
Oh,
Craig.
that sounds better than mine now.
Right, I'm going to roll. I'm rolling.
What should be mine?
3.
Boom! Get in!
Abominable Snowman.
Abominable Snowman, yeah.
Good choice.
So fucking happy that I get to watch that. But as
that
you may
role.
be
Not watching it.
Why are you not
Definitely
watching
fudged
it?
That role.
I'll just listen to the. I ain't bought the disc, have I?
I'll
just listen.
Why?
I'll get
Because
it.
He'll turn up on the whatchamacallit, won't he? Just
That's
the
buy
Blu-ray.
it.
I'm not
That's
paying
not-
20 quid, 20 odd quid for it when I've been waiting for the box set, which will be 40 quid.
All right, whatever. Anyway, I'm very happy. You're gonna piss on my parades, okay? I'm just very happy about it. So thank you very much. But you were right in what you're saying, Craig, because obviously the Jodie Whittaker one's coming out at some point soon, which we will be reviewing. But this is our sort of next one that we do of classic Who and old Who and new Who or whatever.
A regular, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent. So, Abominable Snowman, but at some point in between, we may well be dropping a few. Ignore that bit because we're just going to say goodbye now. Just realised we were
What a fucking pro.
I know, I got that totally wrong.
Right, it started so well. It started so well, Craig.
And it went downhill. Okay, so thank you, lovely listeners. I hope you've enjoyed your nibble on any chocolate fingers and licking out some custard creams. And until next time, bye-bye from me.
Bukake!
Bukake! Bukake!
Lighters.